Hey guys, today we got a 2019 Chevy Silverado, and we're going to be doing front brakes today and showing you how. These are the tools you're going to need right here, and we got our parts over there. Let's get down to it. Now, when you go to order parts for your Chevy Silverado, there's going to be three different options. Dual piston caliper, quad piston, or the heavy duty 6-piston, I believe. This is the quad piston. You can see this big block. You're gonna know you got the quad piston, 1, 2, 3, 4 pistons. We're gonna just get right into it. We're gonna pop this guy off right here. I'll show you how that clips back in later. All right, and now we're gonna grab our pliers, and we got these little hold down guys. And it is a rare treat that we get to work on a clean, rust-free vehicle around here. This is insane. Last time I had quad caliper in, I think it was on like a Canyon or something, and these pins were seized up, and I had to beat them out. It took a while. So we got those little clips out. They just pull right out. Now we pull our pins out. And these are actually some really simple brakes to do. There's just one tool that makes it really handy. It's having a tool like this that presses all 4 pistons at the same time. I mean, you could do it without it. It just makes it a little trickier. Now your pads should just slide right out of there. These ones aren't. Let's see if we can get the pads to budge a little. Press that piston back a little. Go, pads coming out. Press. You don't want to hurt your boot at all, you know, on your pistons. So don't pry on your pistons at all. And you can compress your pistons just like this with a screwdriver. See that? As you press one side in, the other side likes to come out. There's that. Now we're going to take our 18mm socket for our hold down bolts here. We're going to be changing the rotors today too. They do put a generous amount of Loctite on these. Shut that off. All right, we got a hold down screw in the front of the rotor. It's a T30. I'm using a T30 1/2 inch. Usually I would never put these on the impact, but this is such a clean system. I'm not worried about snapping my bit. We want to get our caliper out of the way, not hanging by the brake hose, because these are heavy calipers. There's our T30 hold down screw. And we don't even have to hammer on this rotor today. Usually you got to hammer them off. This one's just sliding right off. You can see how nasty the inside of the rotor is. Now we're going to do a little cleaning on this hub, but this hub is pretty clean already. Here's the Steelman Pro hub polisher kit. You can find it in my Amazon store. It's a little rusty on the edge of the hub. We could take the wire wheel to it and the wire wheel to this. I'm not gonna do that today. Grab our new rotor. And they just lathered this thing with shipping oil. So you want to wipe that off. Flip our rotor around. Line up our hold down bolt. You don't have to put this guy back in, but I'm going to. It's going to hold the rotor still for us. Go. We are bottomed out on our caliper. For this particular tool, I put a brake pad back in because it needed a little bit of extra space. Take the brake pad back out. Now your driver's side is going to have a brake pad wear sensor on it. Just put in a little brake lube on the face of the pistons, so that where they touch the brake pad will be lubricated on the non-friction surface. Helps here in the Rust Belt with squeal and stuff.
Don't like it, but it helps.
And I'll show you about that sensor here in a second. Grab our new brake pads. Here's a brand that I really like. Power Stop Extreme Severe Heavy Duty Truck and Towing. They're good stuff. They come with all the new hardware you'll ever need. You'll notice 2 out of 4 of your pads have squealer tabs on them, or all 4 will. But you don't really need those with the wear sensor, do you? Because the wear sensor hits long before the squealers on these trucks. You want to make sure you got your friction surface touching the rotor, and the curvature is correct. It curves with the rotor. You gotta get them in there just right for them to go in this way. That one, I did have this one, and then I played with it a little too much. There we go. Perfect. Now we got our pads in. Now we move on to our new hardware. A little bit of grease for the pins in these little holes so they don't seize up like that one I was talking about earlier. Now, the side of the hardware with the head goes through the front. Line it up through all the holes. There we go. Sometimes it helps to use some pliers, some needle nose pliers. I got these ones lined up pretty good though. There we go. We are through the ends. Here's those little clips that I pulled out at the beginning. They just push right through pretty easily. One. 2. There we go, they are in there. A little twist. Move that grease around in there. And now we've got our outer hardware here. You'll have a little lip. That lip is towards the top. So you want to grip it on the top and then pull down till it goes into the grooves. Squeeze your little ears in. Put it around the bottom pin. Top pin, bottom pin. These keep the pads out until you engage the brakes. Helps with brake wear. So that's together. Now we got to tighten our 18mm caliper bolts down. And make sure they're nice and tight. They should be nice and tight on these. And that's a brake job. Pretty simple brake job, guys. Torque your lugs to spec. You can bleed your brakes if you're at the mileage for brake flush. You got your bleeder nipple right here. There's lots of how-to tutorials on how to bleed brakes. Now let's move on to that sensor I was talking about. On the inner pad, you have this little cutout here. You gotta take your sensor out of this cutout and put it onto your new pad. And it feeds in on the inside. So on that driver's side, you wanna assemble your pad first and then slide it into the caliper on the inside. Where on this one, I just pulled them out, put them in. The other side, you just gotta put your pad in from the back and then put your caliper on. And I'll give you a little view of that and we'll be all done here. See, that's our sensor wire clipping into the inward brake pad. There's your wiring harness. You got to pull this clip back and then press in and they'll pull apart. And it's got a little hold down here, and that's that. Between the sensor and the brake pad, there is a little metal clip. So when you're transferring them, make sure you don't lose the little metal clip. It's got to stay in there to stay tight. So it may stay with the pad, it may fall on the floor. When you get all done with your brake job, don't just take off. Make sure you pump that brake pedal 5, 10, 15 times till it feels stiff again. Or you're gonna take off and have no brakes. And as far as brake lubricant, my favorite you can find in my Amazon store is AGS Silglide brake lubricant. I love the stuff. Catch you guys later.